Hey YouTube, Ashley Aesthetics here. Today I am bringing you my first vlog other than my intro that I'm going to be having up. And this is going to be starting something I've wanted to do for quite a while. Talking a little bit about preparing for piercings, things you're going to need, things you're going to need to know, what you're going to need to do before you go in, and just things such as that. So today it's going to be talking about preparing for a tongue ring like I have. And basically, there's not much that you need to know. It's all kind of common sense. You want to get a new toothbrush because you're going to be coming home with a fresh wound or a puncture in your tongue. That's what it's considered. That's why you don't use Neosporin or any type of like gel or things like that, because they're used for outside of the tissue, and this is actually a puncture through your skin, so that's not something you want to use. It can cause bacteria to build up. So the reason you're getting a new toothbrush is kind of the same reason. There's bacteria previously, like loads of it, on your old toothbrush, and whenever you're coming home with this fresh wound or puncture wound, you don't want to put or expose your new piercing to all that bacteria. So getting a new toothbrush is going to help out a lot with lowering your risk of infection and help the healing rate pretty quickly, I guess. You want to get alcohol-free mouthwash. I personally use Crest Pro Health. Alcohol is not only going to burn, it's going to cause irritation, and that's going to lead to more swelling. And I personally didn't have like very much swelling at all, but some people do, and if you're using alcohol, that's going to cause it to be even worse. As well, it's going to add more pain to your piercing, so you don't want that at all. Next thing, you want to have lots of soft foods, nothing hard. That'll irritate it as well, and that'll also cause swelling. A few examples is like chicken noodle soup, tomato soup, instant mashed potatoes is a good one, oatmeal, lots of bottled water, Jello. Really big debated one is ramen noodles, because some people complain that the noodles wrap around your tongue ring, but if you crush it up, you don't have that problem. I personally lived off of ramen for the first 3 weeks of my piercing. Normally you're only eating soft foods for about a week, but mine was super sensitive, so I kept to the soft foods for about 3.5 weeks. And basically all I ate was ramen noodles, and I crushed it up so it was like super fine chunks, and I had no problem with it. So I don't see how people can be complaining about that when it's just kind of common sense, you know? You want to get your own water bottle, because for the first like month and a half you're going to have this piercing. You're going to want to have ice water on hand at all times. That means if you're going out on town, or you have to run to the quick stop, or like you have to run to the grocery store, you want to have a bottle of ice water with you. And the cold water helps to soothe irritation and swelling, and it also helps with pain as well, because like cold helps with that. But if you do have a little bit of swelling and there is a little bit of pain, and you're in town or even just at home, you can hold the ice cubes in your mouth. You don't want to suck on them though, because that can cause like the suction can hurt the piercing, because it's going to be wiggling around. So you just want to let it set in your mouth and melt. You don't want to suck on it. Next, you want to avoid super hot foods, super cold foods, and spicy foods. Those are a no-no. Those are off limits for the first like 2 months. Reason being, causes irritation. The spicy foods, I've noticed with my tongue ring, since I've gotten it, spicy foods have become a lot hotter to me. I like spicy foods like a lot, and whenever I first got it done, it surprised me how much stronger it was than it originally had been before I'd gotten my tongue pierced. So you want to stay away from the really hot, really cold, and spicy foods for quite a while. Healing rate, I believe, is about a year. Reason being, it's a really major tissue in your body. I think it's one of the strongest tissues in your body. And even though it may feel like it's healed, like there's no pain, you can move it around, you can change it without feeling any irritation or like swelling coming up, it does take about a year for the tissue to toughen up and be completely healed through and through. So you want to wait about a year before you go and do anything drastic with it. Like, I know some people like to stretch theirs. I personally don't take interest in that, so I've never tried it. Mine's pierced at a 14 gauge, and I've never tried to stretch any bigger than what I got it pierced at. But if you are trying to stretch it, definitely wait at least a year, if not a year and a half, because everybody's body is different, so your healing rate's obviously going to be different. Next is how long you're going to wait to change the barbell you originally get it pierced with. Whenever they pierce it the first day, it's a super, super long barbell because your tongue's going to swell up. And if you have a tighter fit, it's going to cause the blood flow to not flow correctly, and you could possibly lose circulation in your tongue and lose your tongue completely. So they pierce it with a really, really long barbell. And normally people say wait like a month to 2 months before you change it. If you go into your piercer, the place that originally pierced your tongue to begin with, after 2.5 weeks, they will give you, the place here that I went to, Dead Ringer, they will give you a normal size barbell and change it for you for the first time to show you how to do it. So if you go into your piercer 2.5 weeks after it's done, they will change it for you for free, and they will give you the barbell. So I thought that was pretty cool. And normally, whenever you have your piercer change it for you, it causes less problems because they know what they're doing, so there's no chance of like fucking your piercing up or anything like that. And I think it's just a lot smarter to do something that, to put it into the hands of somebody that's been doing it for quite a while and is licensed to do it. So there's that. Another thing is whenever you're getting your tongue pierced or getting any type of piercing or even a tattoo, you want to tip your piercer or tattoo artist, because this is their job, this is what they make their money doing, and it's just common courtesy to tip your tattoo artist or your piercer. I think whenever I got my tongue pierced, I tipped him like a 10. I don't know, it was like on average $30, and I ended up walking out spending $42, something like that. A few facts you need to know is you must rinse your mouth out after every other meal and drink water constantly for the first 7 days. It's very important you drink lots of water, and every time after you eat, gargle. So like if you're going out to eat, take that water bottle with you, rinse your mouth out in the bathroom after you've eaten. Go home before you go to bed, rinse it out after you've brushed your teeth. Whenever you're brushing your teeth, don't brush your tongue. It'll irritate it, and the second or third day after the piercing's been done, you'll notice like a yellow film on the top of your tongue. That's not like infection or anything, that's normal. It's something your tongue like secretes, I guess, to show that it's healing, and it'll disappear in a few days. Mine did personally, and it freaked me out, so I was like looking it up, like, is this infection? And it scared me really bad because I'd never had an infected piercing before I'd gotten my tongue pierced. So I was like, this is a major piercing, and if it's infected, like, what do I do? So yeah, don't worry about that. It's normal. It's your body's healing process. Everybody does it. Some people more than others, so just know that that's not infection that you're seeing, so don't worry about that. You may also see a whitish circle around the barbell of under your tongue. This is the tongue's version of a scab, and it'll disappear in a few days as well. Mine, I think, lasted like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and it freaked me out. The same exact reason. I thought I was getting like a keloid, so I was freaking out, like, how do I get rid of this on my tongue? Like, it hurts, and like, I didn't know what to do. So I did all my research, I talked to my piercer and all that, and this is everything he's told me, so I'm not just rambling off facts I found off Google. These are all things that I was told from my piercer, by my piercer, so if you want to believe me, if you want to hear it from your piercer, call them up. I'm sure they'll tell you the exact same thing. Swelling will be at its peak the first thing the morning after you've pierced it. And that's definitely like a big thing. The second day was the worst for me, I think. But after the second day was over, it was pretty much like done and over with. So before bed, like the night before you go to get it, in the fridge make sure you have a pitcher of cold water, a tray of ice cubes, and you'll want to use these items in the morning. So take those with you, be sipping on them before you go in to get it and all that. When you wake up, crush some ice in a plastic bag and then take some of the ice slivers and put them in your mouth and allow them to melt. Like I said, don't suck on them, that can cause problems. So after about 5 to 10 minutes you should notice the swelling going down, and that really does work a lot for me. That's mainly all I did was ice cubes whenever I got it. Like normally you want to go to like Sonic and get like an ice cream, but that's not something you want to do because you can actually get a yeast infection on your tongue from the yeast inside the like dairy products. So no dairy, no ice cream, none of that. Stay away from that for like the first 2, 3, 4 months. You want to make sure before you go to bed every night that you tighten the barbell so that they don't fall off. It's right to tighten, left to loosen, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Your average rule that you'll learn as a kid. It must be done every day to make sure the balls aren't falling off. If you do happen to swallow one, don't freak out. It'll go through you in a day or so, and you can contact your piercer for another replacement ball. It's no big deal. I know people freak out really bad whenever they swallow a piercing, but with standard tongue rings, it's not gonna hurt you. Don't use Epsom salt, table salt, hydrogen peroxide, betadine, tea tree oil, polysporin, neosporin, bacitracin, Bactrbane, Bactine, or any other topical solution or ointment on your piercing whatsoever. This goes back to me talking about the neosporin and the oils. They hold the bacteria in and can actually trap it, and while it's trapped there, it can actually grow and cause a huge infection. They're not for use on puncture wounds, as I said, and if you even look on the back of it, it talks about no use on fresh open wounds, only outer tissue. And if you think you're having trouble with your piercing, all you gotta do is contact your piercer and they'll tell you what to do, or they'll have you come in so they can look at it. And never, I'm gonna say this again, never remove your jewelry from a piercing that you think might be infected. I don't know all the reasons behind it, but I do know that if it might be infected and there's a possibility of it being really bad, whenever you take that jewelry out, it allows it to spread. A lot of people have had huge problems with this. They'll get irritation and swelling and they'll think it's infected, so they'll take it out. They'll wake up 2 days later and their piercing will be 5 times the size, or the size of their fist or whatever, and that's a no-no. You don't want to do that. So if it's irritated, don't take it out. That's about all I have for you for tongue rings. Personally, know if you're allergic to anything, because I'm allergic to acrylics, so I can't wear acrylic balls. The first way I figured out I was allergic from the acrylic was I actually changed it the 3rd time to an acrylic ball set, and it tore open and basically made my gum palate raw. And I woke up and my gum palate was scratched raw, and it was really sore and tender, and there was nothing I could do about it except take it out. So I instantly changed it back to what I originally had, and it was just really bad all the way around. So make sure you know you're not allergic to any type of the materials that you're going to be putting in your mouth, because it can get really bad if you are. That about sums it up. I will talk to you guys later. I hope I was able to help you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So I guess that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, I love you guys. Bye.